I warmly welcome to the 360-degree Project Cargo Training.
Jeffrin Rodrigues, sir, working at Costco Shipping Lines. He has overall 22 years of experience with 18 years of Hazardous Cargo experience. He has already conducted sessions for Pune Custom House Agent at Odex and also in Mumbai. He will be conducting a session on hazardous cargo.
Good evening, everyone. I'd like to thank the entire EIC team for having organized this. And this, in my purview, is an interesting subject. I'm not sure if you all consider it as interesting, but there's nothing to get scared about it. Okay. So this video will basically tell you whether anybody stuff a container. This will take care of your loading, your ODCs, your dry box, especially has. Okay, so what are dangerous goods? I'm sure it might be like, because the word dangerous, say like, let's not handle it. But the fact is that sometimes we are sitting with dangerous goods. How many of you have mobile phones? Then they are existing in 3 stages or 3 states. That would be solid, liquid, and gaseous state. Till now, I've not heard of the 4th one, but the moment I get to it, I'll let you all know. We go to the next point. That is, it presents a danger to transport environment because of these conditions. That is, its flammability, toxicity, which is poison, corrosivity. These are the most common ones, other than the explosives and the radioactives. These are the most common ones that we all ship in our businesses. So what do I need to know while handling dangerous goods? Can anyone just give me what's your go-to answer?
Never lie. Never let a shipping line.
Never lie anytime also. Okay, don't worry. I've got it all covered in the upcoming slides. Okay, just like this guy. So we have to ask 2 questions first. That where do I need to look? Once I have information that we have X cargo, where do I need to look? Whether it can be considered as dangerous or can be considered as non-dangerous. Coming to it. Okay, so currently we have 2 amendments that is in use as of 2025. So on the left you can see it's Amendment 4122. That was as a mandate used till 31st of December. And I put the second one because that's for Amendment number 4224. So as we sit down here in this current year, we are able to use both. There is no mandate that you cannot use, but my suggestion would be try to use the newer one and stick by it. So you get 2 proper years to use it. And that will also have the upgrades. Now, it also tells you what kind of information you will receive from your customer. That will be from the document that you all say MSDS. Start calling it SDS. Because that is the right word actually. The safety data sheet. So if someone sends me a mail while I'm on the desk, I will always reply saying, send me your SDS, send me your SDS. A very, very passive and hostile way of getting into the system. Okay. Also, you look at the UN packing certificate. I will never reply saying that look at your IIT, because IIT stands for Indian Institute of Packaging, which maybe Singapore may not recognize, and China definitely doesn't recognize. US also doesn't recognize. So use a valid UN packing certificate. Whoever, there's no passport to that, Once you go to the next question, that is what do I need to look for once I get this information? I first go for the UN number, then I look for the class, then the packing group, and the proper shipping name. Now in certain proper shipping names, you'll notice at the end of it, it will be mentioned as N.S.O.S. That in those cases you need to mention your technical name also, not product name, the technical name. Sorry? Yeah, that also works. That also works. But only in those cases where NOS is mentioned. Okay. So this will help you get on the right track by knowing what kind of packaging you require and what kind of mode of transport, as well as which kind of carrier you can use. Because certain carriers may not accept certain types of packing groups. Yeah. Yeah. So like I said in the previous slide about the amendment. So you can see 2025, which has been highlighted. So this is the year, especially look at the calendar, whichever has odd years, like 25, 27, those are your cheat years, you know. But don't cheat that much that it becomes a problem. Okay. So, and the even number years, those years, please ensure you keep the mandate in place. That is like in 2024, you are referring only to 4122. This will help you stay out of trouble. Okay. Now this question I have asked before also in previous trainings and whoever I meet, like, do I need to be afraid of dangerous goods or do I need to be aware of dangerous goods? I always go for aware because I'll rather know who I'm dealing with. Okay. So in the next few slides, we'll go through a few more. That will basically like peeling the onion till we reach the base of it. Okay. Okay. Now this is the classification of IMO classes. That will go from class 1 right up to class 9. Okay. Like class 1 is divided into 6 groups from 1.1 right to 1.6, with 1.6 being the least of the 3, least of 6. Sorry, that will be acceptable to be handled. We go to class 2, the gaseous. That is again subdivided into 3, 2.1, 2.2, 2.3. Flammable liquids previously was divided as per classes as 3.1, 3.2, 3.3, but then as IMO developed by the past mistakes, they subdivided into packing groups. So this is the one class that is compulsorily will have a packing group. So if someone gives you a class 3 saying no packing group, tell him thank you. Then you come to flammable solids. This also is divided into 3 subdivisions, that is 4.1, 0.2 and 0.3. Then class 5, oxidizing substances and organic peroxides. This is one of the only classes that is having a very clear distinction, where organic substance or peroxides will be 5.2. Very clear structure. And 5.1 will be oxidizing substances. You have class 6, that is toxic and infectious. Infectious ideally is not really done much in India as of now, but I think Sarin is doing it right now. Blood samples are also, yeah. So we can discuss about 6.2 later. And yeah, and 6.1 is poison or toxic. You would have seen those placards with a skull and 2 bones in the X form. That is all 6.1. We have class 7 radioactive. So radioactive is basically all your cargoes that are the most dangerous in my purview. Not because it is radioactive, but because, like the way I put it, no, it's like approaching, if you approach a bull, you know it will come attack you from the front. A donkey will attack from behind, no? And a fool from any side. So this I consider like the fool of the IMDC code. So it can go 360 degrees, just like the title of today. So the dangers from all sides. Hence, be a little careful while accepting this, but a lot of stringent norms in this cargo. For class 8 is corrosive substances. This also has a lot of packing groups, but certain UN numbers under this class will also accept without a packing group. Very, very few. And class 9. So class 9, like I said, this is the elite list. So all those who didn't make it from class 1 to class 8, and they are still dangerous, no? They will make it in the class 9. This is like the general dabba of the train. Like I was for reservation, nahi mila, class 1 to class 8. I'm still has. Class 9. Very simple. So all those have come by cars. Your seat belt, class 9. Your airbag, class 9. So don't say you don't have dangerous goods. Okay, we can go to the next slide. This will teach us about packaging. Okay, so like we spoke about packing group, packing group 1, packing group 2, and packing group 3. So in other terms in the UN packing certificate, you find them as X, Y, and Z, if you notice it very clearly. So each of those alphabets refer to the packing group. So we go for the first one. Let me see if you'll understand this. So it has the most stringent packaging. Just imagine you're doing business of the zoo or circus. Now, how close will you keep that cute animal? So you'll have a cage worthy of its part. You won't just keep it in a cardboard box. You won't keep it in aluminum because it won't. You will be the cakewalk for it. Okay. So class X or I'm packing group 1 will be the most stringent of all. Some companies do not accept packing group 1, but in my personal view, nothing to do with anything. You should accept packing group 1 the most because it is the most stringent. It's like taking a notorious criminal, sedated and chained. As simple as that. I'd rather be comfortable with that than have something which is not. Then the second packing group. So which animal is that? Yeah. So among the two, the tiger should be the most stronger one, considering a bite force of 1200 psi, while leopard is 350. So there is no comparison in the two. Okay, so packing group 2, in technical idea, I will normally take a packing group 2 cargo and load it in a packing group 1 packaging. Worthy. Commercially may not make sense because the material use, the cost use will be way higher. That is the commercial side. But the logic side, I can take. So a leopard can go in the tiger's cage. Okay. Try not mixing it backwards. Okay. We'll go for the last one. And look at the dangerous man. Just see that road. He's rolling the loudest and the most. Now, if you look at it, it's packing group 3, that is the Z. In your UN packing codes, you'll find the letter Z. That's always related to packing group 3. And the same with the others. Like, I can upgrade the cat into the leopard's cage, into the tiger's cage. But don't try to downgrade them. No, they take it very personally. It can go the other way around for you. Okay. Now we'll go to the next slide. So this is the segregation table. So segregation table is very important. So in school you must have learned x-axis, y-axis. The best way to learn this slide is this. Imagine you're doing a class 3 with a class 8. Okay? So class 8. Look at the class 3. Look at the vertical version. It should be very bisects. Okay? So that becomes a grade. So in short, you can load it, but still you need to refer to the INVOCC code, that is 7.2.7 on that chapter. It will tell you whether this particular UN number with what packaging can be loaded. In principle, you can. In principle. But in actuality, you may not. So like if you go to Dubai, you're an Indian. But in the same cab, you would be sitting with a Pakistani, no? But the same thing, in those kind of scenarios, you don't expect a Modi sitting with a Nawaz Sharif. No? It gives a different picture. Although we play cricket together, but politically we can't do. So that's when you refer to the IMDG code 7.2.7. So it tells you politically you cannot, cricket you have movies, all okay. This you can't do. Okay? So this is your segregation table. So the colors that are there, green right up to the red and blue, those show you how stringent it keeps getting on. Okay, now if you look at the last one, class 9, it basically goes with everything. That's the only line which is completely blue in the x and the y axis. All the sets. So it's like that, you know, the general dabba, कि भाई पूरा train pack है, छोटा सा जगह पे बैठ जाएगा. As simple as that. But still refer to the IMDC code, whether it is allowed. ठीक है? Okay. The key points. So we need to know the acceptance of dangerous goods on any carrier, that is by road, air, sea, or rail. And most importantly, acceptance of dangerous goods is purely a municipal affair. So please don't come up with the idea saying that from India I loaded, so from Germany you please take it by water. It need not be acceptable. I'm quite sure most of them will have faced that the German water police has stopped a particular container and asked for more documentation or changed the placards on the containers that we do not want this, or we enter separate UN number mentioned. You would have faced this thing. It is because in their waters or in their land, they consider it to be handled in this particular way. Like if you go to Mumbai, for example, we do not have classes 1 to 9. The fire brigade themselves look at classes A, B, C, and D. If you look at your firefighting cans, it mentions very clearly A, B, C, and you go and see the IMDC code, it will not work because it's a municipal affair. So Mumbai would look at it as A, B, C, simple. You look at, so IMDC code is like the global law, but you still need to go back to the local. So it's like the central government and the state government. No? You could do whatever you want in the center, but then when you come to say Pune, then you know that yes, Siddharth is the boss. So as simple as that. So central government, state government, same logic here. So if you're passing through multiple cities, like Vaishali was saying, you need to have approvals of every side. So it's quite possible that there could be delays from the HQ that approves that part. It's possibly because they haven't received a municipal approval from an next city because of it transiting there. Now sometimes it's also quite possible a particular cargo could be on ship only, doesn't offload. But that particular country or that particular city doesn't want that kind of cargo even in their waters. The whole ship will have to wait outside. So hence, it's very important to know what happens in that city, will it be acceptable? In my view, as shipping lines or as transporters or logistic providers, we are glorified transporters. That's all that we are. Even airline. I'm just flying, but I'm a transporter. I'm nothing else, no? In the pure base of it. That's why you know the carrier. It doesn't say aircraft, it will say carrier. Carrier is the most easy term. It's a truck, it's a trailer, it's a car, it's an aircraft, it's a rail, it's a carrier that carries from point A to point B. Then local rules will always override the IMDC code, which is actually prepared by the International Maritime Organization or the IMO, better known as IMO. We have the next point saying that the filing of the dangerous goods declaration is purely the shipper's responsibility. So do I hear that we have some exporters in the house today? Anyone can put it. Sir, you're not doing chemical, right? You're doing chemical. Non-HAZ. Just assume that you get adventures and you start doing HAZ. Don't ask your forwarder to fill up your declaration. I know it's a very it's a luxury. It's a luxury, not paid for, but better to have yourself do it because it's your cargo. You know better. Because as a forwarder, he will give it to his staff. The staff will just copy paste it. It may be class 9. It will be mentioned as class 7, and they'll keep coming back as rejected. Okay. In case of a console, so we have a lot of, I think a couple of consolidators here. In this case, it is ideally the liability of the packer of the container, who has packed the container. So normally you co-load, as consolidators you will co-load, depending on the commercials of it. The liability lasts only with the consolidator, no one else. So don't say that it is shipper's responsibility then, because you are taking up that activity. So in the case of an FCL, it goes to the shipper, and in the case of consolidation, it goes to the consolidator only. Okay, it also takes care of the DG and the non-DG cargos. Sometimes you have mixed cargos, couple of chemicals and rest all non-dangerous cargos. Okay. Now, each company needs to have a person trained or qualified to handle this desk. In the recent times, say from last 8 to 10 years, a lot of people have shifted companies. Like ma'am was saying that, you get a better salary, you move. I know it is not very good for the owner or the bosses, but that's the commercial side of it. But the fact is that if I'm running my own company and I say I take Siddharth as a staff of mine, I invest in him getting trained for it. And now Siddharth is trained. So what happens to that part of it? So hence, I think those are doing air cargos would have found that from previously there was 2 people in an office that needed to have an IATA training. Now it is 3. The reason for doing the 3 is only this. So at any given point, you at least have 2 people. That is the logic. It's not that by having 3 people you will handle it better. I mean, if you have 2 fools, the third fool will not make any difference. It is a must that the declaration of dangerous goods be correctly and completely filled. There are certain places where they don't mention certain information. Okay, I understand you don't have the vessel information, acceptable. But don't tell me you don't have the packing group. Don't tell me you don't have the UN packing code number. The Banamat. In short, you definitely have it. You don't want to provide it, that is your choice. But then don't expect an approval also. Information that you already have, better mention it. Okay, and this is one of the jobs that say that there's zero scope of error. Your 1% ki, let me leave this information out. Aaj ko tufani karte hai. And that is your bad day now. Even the documentation losses won't cover it. It will be way higher than that. I think before the lockdown started off, all shipping companies started announcing misdeclaration charges. $15,000, $30,000, $40,000. I don't think forwarders make that kind of money. And I'm not sure how many exporters can also afford that kind of number. Okay, the person who handles this desk, this job, he needs to be very, very serious. He or she needs to be very serious of what he enters and what he handles. He cannot make even the slightest of error. I was on the DG desk of MIK. I made that up. And one day I'd gone on leave. The person who was helping me took the liberty of getting up 2 minutes before to have a cup of coffee. And it reached the port showing as non-dangerous cargo. It turns out to be, it is class 3. On a Friday night at 11:45, I had to get back to work. Only sought that 2-minute coffee break. Okay, because somebody got up to have a cup of coffee. Okay, good, nothing happened. But it could have cost, had it gone the wrong way, no? It could have cost someone's life, it could have cost anything. Okay, then the last point is basically on this page. Has approvals from a carrier. Normally, each carrier or NVOCC would have their internal has desk. They have a approval code for that particular shipment. It is important to have that information also. Because if you have given all information correctly and for some reason the person sitting on the desk has copied it wrong, into a system, his or her system. It could affect you. Try and ask. I know some carriers don't give, but you start making that effort of asking, these things will come in place. As a carrier, it doesn't lose any sort of, it doesn't become a problem for me or somebody else to share it, but it becomes like, ye to mera information. It is not your information. It is common information. It's like sharing a booking number or a PL number. At least the customer can use that part, if not anything. Okay. It is a must to take as approvals for every shipment, each and every shipment. It is not to be taken for granted. I've been doing, say, this particular UN number, this particular class, this particular packing group for the last 10 years. My father was doing it. My son also do it. Every shipment. If there's a cancellation or there's no show, if there's a vessel not called, if you are not able to get it, there's a transport strike, vessel missed, please apply again. Because every vessel has a very different permutation combination. Now, possibly assume that this particular hall has been given for jobs, for events like this every day. Now, Anup is sitting here. Maybe Anup comes and sits here every Saturday at the same time. But it's not possible that Anup would have been here. Would have come here even last week. Or he may not come in next week. So it's important to get that scenario also clear. Okay. There's no suppositions in dangerous goods. There has to be a 100% sure thing, because it is quite possible your mistake could cause a damage to environment or to people or to everything of the above. Good and safe packaging is very important. Like I showed you the slide of the 3 animals, as simple as that. It's very important to have the correct placard and the label on your each package, on each container. So the difference between placard and label, the placard is which is on the container and the labels on each package. Ensure you have the correct placards mentioned, and also ensure that in case you receive the container is empty and has the wrong placard, please take it off, peel it off. Because it could be non-dangerous cargo going in, but because that label are being outside, you will be pulled up for misdeclaration. This is the dangerous goods form that I would advise to use, just like the bill of lading format. All information that needs to be filled in, this will be the best one to use. So I like everyone to kind of go with the slogan of safety starts with me. Yeah, thank you very much, and I hope everyone's awake.
Is designed to equip you with the tools, skills, knowledge development which need to excel in managing complex cargo operations.